Welcome to Media Kitten Audios. I'm Becky, your host. Here, I'll chat about everything from blockbusters to hidden gems to the obscure, old and new. I have a lifelong genetic physical disability, which is why I love escaping to new places, going on fantastic adventures, and meeting awesome characters through movies, TV, and books. That's also why our content is mostly in audio form. But don't worry, it's all my genuine, unfiltered opinions, served fresh for your ears. So grab your treats, relax, and let's embark on these journeys together. And hey, don't forget to press your paw on that subscribe button and join MKA's Kindred Cat Theater. We've got tons of exciting reviews and fun discussions in store. I feel as though I should give a spoiler and content warning for the series, and for uncomfortable topics such as SA, CSA, and descriptions of trauma. If you can't handle these things, please join me for a lighter conversation in another one. This discussion will be divided into 2 video parts. First, I'll focus on the series itself, and then I'll delve into the details regarding the case. Today, we're examining the Netflix series, Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. The series chronicles the real-life case of Lyle and Eric Menendez, convicted in 1996 for murdering their parents on August 20th, 1989. It portrays their lives before and after the murders, their arrest, and trials. The show explores the prosecution's argument of solely greed as motivation.
I don't believe that's true.
While also presenting the brothers' claims of long-term abuse as their motive. The cast includes Nicholas Alexander Chavez as Lyle Menendez, Cooper Koch as Eric Menendez, Javier Bardem as Jose Menendez, and Chloe Sevigny as Kitty Menendez. The good. First, it brings renewed attention to an older case, which I think is great for awareness, but Murphy had to go and put his foot in his mouth. But we'll discuss that later. Second, it has high production values, which is always appreciated aesthetically. Third, it has strong performances by Bardem, Sevigny, Chavez, and Koch. But how did they perform in comparison to their real-life counterparts? Bardem's performance was very compelling and powerful. I actually felt fear myself just watching him. His track record for portraying complex gray characters probably helped him a lot in giving a more nuanced performance. It's at least accurate in how terrifying he could be. I can say that it was a fearsome and complex portrayal. He brought a lot of gravitas to his acting and the family dynamics at play. He also looks very similar to Jose Menendez, which I really appreciated. Sevigny's performance was a good match with Bardem's. Serious props need to be given to makeup and hairstylists and the costume department because she looks also extremely similar to her real-life counterpart. Chavez as Lyle and Koch as Eric. Once again, props need to be given to the people who do the makeup, hair, clothing, and acting, which is making me angry because if Ryan Murphy had wanted, he had all tools at his disposal to make it right. The portrayal of the brothers is rather simplistic and reductive. Lyle is, within the story, a bully who is angry and spoiled, while Eric is shown as kind of pathetic. The acting is phenomenal, especially the first half of Episode 5, The Hurt Man. It's just not correct. Anyone who has spoken or known them has stated the same. They have a calmer temperament. The reason this is not in the bad section is because I believe the actors did a great job within the confines of the script and direction that they were given. The bad? It has a host of inaccuracies, which is my main issue overall, mostly because I find them damaging. It implies an incestuous relationship between Lyle and Eric, which there's no evidence to suggest. Considering that the brothers have accused their parents of being in an obviously unconsensual, incestuous relationship with them, I think you can see why this should be viewed in a negative light. A pivotal scene shows Eric being inspired to murder after watching Billionaire Boys Club. Robert Rand, a veteran reporter intimately familiar with the case, confirms this is impossible. The brothers were at a tennis camp in Florida with a strict 9 p.m. lights-out policy when the show aired. The opening limo scene about brown loafers is incorrect. Lyle wore green cowboy boots, as evidenced by video. The series falsely portrays the brothers as wild partygoers. However, family, friends, and Rand, who is an Emmy-nominated journalist, as well as being the only journalist who was present during the 1989 investigation, and also witnessed the 93 and 95 trials, describes them both as soft-spoken, shy, conservative, and essentially straight arrows. Scenes of Lyle using cocaine are based on unsubstantiated theories by journalist Dominic Dunn, not factual evidence. The timeline of events is skewed. Eric's confession to his therapist is incorrectly placed before the police attempt to get a confession through his friend Craig Signorelli. The show only depicts Kitty Menendez as an enabler of abuse, omitting the brothers' accusations that she also abused them. Lyle accused her of physical and psychological abuse, as well as sexual abuse between the ages of 11 and 13, telling him to touch her everywhere. A fictional sequence shows the brothers visiting a movie theater and restaurant to establish an alibi, which never happened. Lyle is inaccurately portrayed as a psychopath, contrary to testimony and evidence of his protective nature towards Eric. The show gives credence to multiple perspectives, which looks like everything is being given equal validity, which doesn't sit right with evidence. The ending of the series is kept intentionally ambiguous, essentially asking which ones were the monsters, the boys, or their parents. When evidence-wise, it's very obvious that the boys were the victims of lifelong harm perpetrated by their parents. The only perspectives that matter, in this specific case, are the Menendez brothers and the countless eyewitnesses that knew Kitty and Jose firsthand throughout all different ages of the boys' lives, some of whom the boys hadn't seen or spoken to for years before they showed up to defend them on that stand. Leaving it open-ended in this way feels like a very disrespectful way of going about this. I will go into a lot more detail in Part 2, but it really frustrates me to see the series prioritize drama over an accurate retelling, especially since everything that happened is very much dramatic all on its own, which brings us to the backlash. The director has received a lot of backlash from the victims' families of his previous work, Dahmer, and yet he still hasn't learned his lesson because, speaking of the controversy surrounding monsters, Ryan Murphy, the series creator, told Variety, "I have no interest in meeting with them," referring to the brothers. He also says he knows their perspective, so I'm assuming he doesn't believe it's necessary. This refusal to engage with the subjects of his series has raised serious ethical questions. He has also been quoted as saying that his series was the best thing to happen to the brothers in 30 years, which is just mind-blowing. Even though I totally agree that it has brought attention to the brothers again, I don't think it's the best thing to happen to anyone in 30 years. He has said they will be released by Christmas. I don't think things are that simple, Ryan. In stark contrast, Alejandro Hartman, director of the other Netflix Menendez documentary called The Menendez Brothers, conducted over 20 hours of recorded phone conversations with Lyle and Eric from prison. This documentary promises a more accurate portrayal of events, which I hope is the case, and I will definitely watch to see. Eric Menendez himself criticized the series Monsters as vile and appalling and full of lies. Luckily, Los Angeles County DA George Gascon will avoid watching the series to remain unbiased. Stay tuned for updates that came out after scripting and during my editing process. It takes me a long time because of my condition. It will be worth it. Promise. As we've seen, Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, takes significant liberties with the truth. It's crucial for viewers to approach such dramatizations with a critical eye and seek out more reliable sources of information. I think it could have been handled with much more tact and accuracy while still being an entertaining show. In my opinion, Murphy was irresponsible in his approach to his series. Some dramatizations make sense to keep the audience's attention, but I think he went way too far into fiction, not even willing to speak to the subjects or the subject's family of the docuseries that he's creating in the first place. The reason I'm being so critical is because this involves real people still alive being toyed with, real murders, real parricide, real serious allegations of lifelong parental harm being done. I think that when dealing with extremely sensitive cases, we need to take more responsibility in how we present it. There's plenty of movies and TV shows that are based on true events that are totally fine because the events are clearly just a basis to tell a story. It's your own opinion/speculation. Get the more critical details correct, only getting unimportant details changed, are about completely guilty people who are not glamorized, are handled well enough, everyone involved is dead, are so obscure like TV movies that nobody really pays attention, or don't have a lot of information. You can jump off of that easily. In conclusion, the show itself is controversial for controversy's sake, wanted to cover all opinions, inaccurate in many aspects, and way too overly dramatized. That's if we're talking about this show simply as a show. If you want factual information, this isn't for you. Regardless of my own thoughts, if you want to watch it, I hope you enjoy. My rating is 3 out of 10 hearts, based on some entertainment value due to wonderful acting, costuming, hairstyling, and makeup. The recreations during the trial were especially impressive. However, its inaccuracies and dramatizations really take away my enjoyment overall. The updates. On October 24th, 2024, Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon is supporting the Menendez brothers' petition to California Governor Gavin Newsom for clemency. Clemency from Governor Newsom could result in a reduced sentence or a pardon for the brothers. It could even result in them being released immediately. His office stated that pending clemency applications are confidential and they cannot discuss individual cases. The clemency request is separate from 2 other legal avenues the brothers are pursuing. A resentencing was also recommended by DA Gascon, which will go before a Los Angeles Superior Court judge. If approved, it would make the brothers eligible for parole. B. A habeas corpus petition filed last year for a review of new evidence, which could lead to reversed convictions or reopened proceedings. For clemency specifically, the decision rests solely with Governor Newsom. No judge is involved in the clemency process itself. However, California law requires that for individuals convicted of 2 or more felonies, the governor's grant of clemency must be approved by a majority of the California Supreme Court justices. I know obviously nothing is set in stone yet, but this feels promising. I'm crossing my fingers, metaphorically speaking, LOL. I believe they deserve to be set free. Keep in mind that I'm definitely not a lawyer, and my citations for the updates are in the description. Thank you for joining me. Do you think it's unethical not to meet the subjects of your creations when possible? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments. I've been your host, Becky with Media Kitten Audios. If you've enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for more. Bye-bye for meow.